Hello, viewers. I'm SB,
And I'm Amabel.
and welcome back to Amabel Goes to Forex School and the Legend 2 edition, where we have been stricken by an early access patch. Some things have changed. Among them, the values for winning the game via the master route here. Now we got to clear more fortresses than we had to clear before. I think the number of territories, it wasn't 40, right? Was it 30? It was more than we have now. We were still expanding, but this was definitely
Yeah.
10. I will notice that the numbers on Impress have not changed. We're over village pacification. We have active mining of
Yeah.
4 of the 6 resource types, and we're about to get access to the other 2. And you know what I don't know? Oh, it looks like the patch did fix the drills. We are getting our
Okay.
doubled resource rate income, our double resource income rates.
Then should we switch
I never
to
I never
the
turned off the construction of the drills, to be clear. So
Yeah. But should we
should
switch
we formally switch?
the victory thing? Because it does affect the number of people who choose it affect what the number is. That gives a better idea
That
of that
is
target.
what it that is what was suggested to us.
Yeah.
Pressing the change victory path button doesn't do anything. Okay, here we go. What were we thinking, listening to something so corrupted, so broken? You make a terrible mistake. It must be restrained. Yeah, what if I were to go to Impress? I don't think so. Machine. I will say I do not like from a story perspective. I like Master a lot more. Like we'll kick their god's ass. I'm a lot less like, hey, love us. But you know what? Wait, no. That's Wait, hold on. I didn't want to choose that one. Was that Impress? No, okay, there was an error in the it showed us the objectives for this, but now it's showing us this. Okay. So yeah, Impress is what we're doing. It's early access, folks. There are some problems. In some places, the game is not 100% doing the things that it is meant to do. I'm going to go ahead and buy out this drill. And then we need to evolve this into a camp and attach it at our earliest abilities. So that's what our next flow of influence is for.
Okay.
These guys, I think we're headed toward this fortress to go make violence. So I guess let's do that. Although it's no longer critical. Chindaw does have Clax deposits, but Clax is not one of the critical resources. So do we even still want to do it? To be clear, we need Irradion and Thalatine. Okay, we have a little bit of Clax coming in, but we don't have the ability to store as much as we would need to boost. Yeah, the expansion, making so many cities, has made things like very weird and expensive. I don't know. Well, there are some ancient ruins over here that we're to search for a quest, so I guess in any case, let's head this way. We are going to have to deal with the Doom wraiths as well, so. Let's grab some of these Syadan curiosities. Do you have any... No, you currently do not have any strategic resources, so the drill would not do anything of value here. Yeah, a lot of these science buildings are not very impressive here. I noticed that we have suddenly lost a lot of approval. I wonder if they changed that building that makes all your buildings give you approval.
Hmm.
Seems at least possible.
That could be.
If they did, that's really bad news for us. Well, then, building.
I don't think they should implement the patch mid your game. You know.
Well, they can't really, like, how would they not?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
All right, we're focusing on building approval focused structures here. Unlocks faction trait impose balance. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Amabel, what does that mean? I guess let's find out. It is my great pleasure to call you a friend. Attitude change to friendly. That's wonderful. That's exactly the sort of thing I want to be hearing. All right, we need to stand strongest. The lost will respect that and give us its blessings. That's, again, leftover text that was still in the queue.
Mm-hmm.
This lost culture referred to themselves as the Renteti, cultured and sophisticated, but doomed to fade as the seas rose. Their achievements in the visual arts seem to be particularly impressive, but little remains now. Tell us what you have learned, and see that the troops respect the site. Perhaps leave a small shrine in their memory. Okay, so a reduction in the cost of many, like, basic researches.
Okay.
I don't know all of those off the top of my head, but I think those were largely influence focused. Sorry.
And this treaty will provide science bonuses to cities in both empires and make technologies discovered by one empire cost 20% less for the other empire.
I don't know exactly where they're at science-wise, but I bet we're more scientifically developed than they are just because the difficulty is quite low. So this is way...
You're getting 14 auric coral.
Yeah, but that doesn't do anything.
Well.
Unwise.
All right, calm down.
Oh, okay.
Getting all tetchy with me. Okay, so this region has mines and drills on the two things that it can mine. Is there any other approval producing stuff available? 20 approval on City Hall. All right. I think we're going to be doing a lot of that. Boy, it is hard to get back home. There's a lot of... there's a very long cliff face here.
Yeah. The ambiance is really spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the watery ambience noise.
The corruption has begun. Shall we knock out this fortress on the way back? Yeah, you know what? Let's do it.
Sure.
But I think I'm just going to plunder instead of seize. I don't know that we want this area. Yeah, I don't think I do. So thus far, we have always seized them.
Right.
But it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense, I think, at this point.
You know, I understand making some battles mandatory, but when you're this much overpowering them, it feels a little
Yeah, it does feel like maybe it could be wise to the difference and just have them, automatically surrender or whatever. Man, he's a tough dude. I think I am gonna ride over here, do a bunch of damage to you. Actually, you know what? I should have had my I should have had Polemophon go before that. Right, because pinning volley. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Should be able to do it from here. Pinning, I can hit literally all of them with pinning volley, but I could have done this before my own dude was in range.
Yeah.
That's fine. He loves to be pinned in place.
Yeah.
And then we're going to work real hard on damaging out their leader. There's a chance we get a kill here. We definitely won't get a kill on the leader. I guess let's take that shot. Okay, didn't quite get it. We had to high roll. But the pins got them all, behaving themselves. Alright, and then hopefully Polemophon is up to the task here. Easy.
Yeah. Real clean.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. At a certain point, maybe if you're like over 1,000 points of combat strength above the opponent,
Yeah.
have it give you the option to just tap them out.
Something we talked about before is I think you and I talked about this off camera, is how few of these games model like one side being like, all right, well, you win, and giving up and running away.
Yeah.
And it seems like for me, that's an obvious thing to have in the model, especially because it makes battles less tedious, take less time. It's interesting to me that it's not really something that's done in these computer games, which could probably model that kind of morale breakage in some very granular and interesting ways. I guess you get that in Total War Warhammer to a degree.
Yeah, with the
but,
leadership mechanics are all very like front and center there. Let's also build one more combat unit here. Just got to rebuild this army after they lost a bunch of people, and then we're going to use them to go after the Doom Wraith. Now, I believe Doom Wraiths were actually toned down a little bit.
Okay.
I think I remember reading that. I skimmed the patch notes very quickly. They were long.
But they give a list of the things they did.
Yeah.
That you can read.
Yeah.
Well, that's neat.
It was a lot.
Well, I can confirm from my experience that however much you play test something, however many people you get on board for that, it's not the same as when a game's out there and people can buy it and play it.
Yeah.
There's a way in which, with my particular medium, you can't really do a bunch of patches. Either you do a little bit of errata or you do a second edition, but you can't roll stuff out over time. I think that's something that video games can do, and I don't know. I have mixed thoughts about it, but it's an interesting difference in the work process.
All right, so they're headed back to play defense. You also, in theory, are headed back to play defense, but first, curiosities and stuff. And then Are there strategic resources here? We have extractors on all the Hyperium. We don't have a drill here yet. But we do also need to make sure that we are building anything that produces approval. So people are very pissed off with us. And I don't know, I thought I was doing a good job personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like this village has all of the approval stuff, and we're still minus 19. I gotta get some. I didn't figure out how to get some luxury resources rolling. Unfortunately, the number of cities we built is so prohibitive to that.
Minus 41%. Oh my goodness.
Rebellion! Oh god! Run away! Yeah, there are a lot of places that are not happy. Obviously, the corruption is not helping. And that's a problem we're going to deal with for sure.
You keep saying that. It hasn't happened yet.
I keep saying that we're going to deal with the corruption. The corruption just started. Amabel?
I don't know. We're 15 minutes in. It's been like all corruption, all doom wraith. Oh, we'll take care of that.
Oh, corruption, oh, doom wraith indeed.
Oh, doom wraith, my doom wraith.
Oh, right. I was supposed to be doing a thing over here. You are a camp.
It's just what you need to make your empire bigger. That'll help with your approval.
Something binds us to this realm. What songs will the chorus sing after visiting these strange climes?
They're doing a good job of selling the, like, not just the alienness of, like, the world to us, but even the alienness of the world to the people who live here, the parts that used to be underwater.
Yeah.
Like, that's very cool. All right, so as soon as this comes out of the water, we have that. We have a red sand deposit there, which is cool. And we have a force that could theoretically challenge a Doom Wraith. Obviously, we'll instant resolve this single rebel unit. All right, bring this army home. So the question is, do I want to attack the Doom Wraith?
Yes.
With just this army, or do I want to wait for some reinforcements? It's a pretty close battle, we're being told.
I think you could do it. I believe in you.
I'm going to go ahead and specialize you into the advanced range thing. Wait, are my stingers? Okay, no, they're range 3. Yeah, I think I'm not going to do the other upgrades. Well, hold on. Maybe you. Yeah, the frontline toughness will matter.
Okay.
And then I guess let's go for it, because Amabel says go for it, and I apparently haven't learned anything.
I can't believe you did that.
An instant resolve does not have us winning.
I mean, you can retreat if you want, if you're, a coward. That's fine.
Coward. I'll show you, coward.
I'm sorry. That language was too strong. I shouldn't have said coward. You can retreat if you're a pussy.
Amabel Holland.
Yeah.
The hell is wrong with you?
What? those are my favorite words to hear because I do hear them from you like every day, and it's great.
All right, we're gonna use this cliff here, a bit of natural cover for the archers.
Yeah, that's smart terrain use.
Got a bottleneck and a weird lake in the middle. Huh. They just did nothing. Oh no, I didn't hit. Sorry, I hit defensive stance on one unit, not defensive stance for everybody. No wonder they didn't do anything. They elected not to act during my turn, if you can believe it. Okay, so first things first, we got to stick the Doom Wraith with the armor reduction.
Right.
Then we got to hit it as hard as we reasonably can, which is not very hard. I mean, I am going to need you to come around here. Ah, okay. So we've now encircled the enemy. This is something I saw in the patch notes.
Okay.
There is now a scaling defense penalty for having 3 or more enemy units adjacent to you.
Okay. That's smart. You know, in board games, Hex Encounter board games, you often have units from different hexes that are adjacent to an enemy attacking together.
Okay.
And you don't really see that much in these video games, as far as I can tell. Everyone always has their own individual turn. But doing it this way, where you're applying that stacking modifier that gets worse with more people around you, in addition to having the attacks come on you, I think that's really smart way to get some of that feel across, some of that positioning, where it really matters how much force you're bringing to bear on a single point, in a very Spearpunked way.
Should we try to burn down the extra enemies? Instead, like, not focus on the Doom Wraith, like take a turn here and try to just kill as many of the followers as possible. I think so. I think I'm gonna try to knock out a couple of these guys, which means backing up, I think.
Okay.
So I'm gonna spread out a little. So knocks one tile back the targeted units. I could step to here. No, I guess we better just do it here. Shockwave you here. Nobody got moved back. Oh, and we're not quite going to get that kill. That sucks. Okay, I think the game was just right. This is not a winning fight for us. But we can certainly soften the army up for the people who are coming, because we do have reinforcements on the way.
Yeah, I don't know why you did this. Is this still charming?
No,
Am I still being
it was
charming?
never charming.
Okay. Oh, well, I tried.
I am at full exasperation. All right, that's where I'm living. With these wraiths, it's like the corner of doomed and catastrophe. All right, he will not have time to recover. Okay, my army is further away than I would like.
How about that army? Can that do it?
There's another Doom Wraith somewhere. Yeah, here. This army is not in a good spot to deal with that. I think this army is considerably weaker than the other one. All right, can we have a pretty solid income? Like, we can definitely be buying military units. What does this army's makeup right now? We could use another ranged. Which we'll be able to buy next turn. Synaptic acceleration has been researched. Impose balance. I just got an achievement that... Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that?
It did, yeah.
Okay. End of your journey. This is your last turn. Something...
Keep up the victory.
Something
screen.
ain't right here. Yeah, let me grab this. And then knock out this army of rebel units real fast. How did they get a translocation device? Oh, Metaxas of Agora's Haven's available. That's cool. Yeah, let's press this.
Yeah, so you only need to achieve one of the 7 things in order to win. You just needed to switch it.
Wait,
and I've known this for a couple episodes.
What is that?
But
what? What?
I've known this for a couple episodes, and I really was like, should I tell her? Because the information, the way it's presented, makes it sound like you need to do both things.
And I think it's actually really it's really smart to have them be grouped, because to make it so that the internal path requires you to have population and science helps sort of deal with the fact that the internal path is a very powerful way to build. Part of I play a lot of science and culture type victories in games, not because I dislike war systems. Lord knows I played enough Total War Warhammer to disabuse anybody of that notion, but it's because they're better. Mathematically, they're better almost always. Right? They are more internal feedbacky and less risky than the combat systems. So I thought this was a smart way of sort of blunting this while still playing into the we must improve our. You really only need one of the things.
You only really need one of the things, and I figured that out when they told us victory was imminent before, and then everyone has been in the comments saying,
which I don't
"Are you
read,
going to tell
famously,
her?"
Yeah.
Which you don't read, and this is why I decided I'm not going to tell her. I'm going to let it happen because she likes to discover things on her own, and she wants to have the experience that she's having unadulterated by outside influence. So did I do okay there? I've been going back and forth on it the whole.
I mean, you're asking me if you did an okay job of not telling me a thing? Yeah, you didn't tell me the thing. I can't argue with that.
Do you appreciate that I didn't tell you the thing, or should I have told you?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, I was trying to respect the process and.
Yeah, I have to say, I like that a lot less than having them grouped. Having it be a group of things to accomplish. I'm trying to think so right now, obviously what I'm doing is I'm dealing with the shock of it. And so it's very easy to be new thing. I dislike that less than the thing I thought was familiar. I'm trying to I do like, I guess, almost in an aesthetic sense, I like the idea of the grouped conditions better. But I'm trying to think now, like,
Yeah.
do I really think that mathematically it's a huge difference? And I think, I think it's, I think my vote would absolutely be that they should actually group these. Maybe they'd have to
Would
maybe
you
rework worship a little bit because maybe you don't want to have all three of those things. I don't know.
well, would you like a thing like this where the things that are paired might change from one run to the next?
Well, no, they have to be. It can't be random. They have to be.
But what if
Both
they
they
have
have
a
to be
set?
ideologically. They have to be ideologically aligned, and mechanically kind of tense with each other, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe not tense with
Okay.
each other, but like at least spreading your resources out a little further, right?
Yeah, because here you can just kind of make a run for get 30 villages or get 13 fortresses.
It feels like it's going to be really hard to keep an aspect player from doing get 30 villages if they're tending their coral with that specifically in mind, instead of, as I was doing, just kind of like I was laying the coral down pretty haphazardly, and we got to 30 villages almost by accident. Even so,
I mean, there's a reason why, from what you've told me, like the science victory is one you gun for a lot and seems to be very.
Balance. Equilibrium. We aspects had proved ourselves most worth the Old One's attention when it stirred from its slumber. And we waited with bated breath, even the chorus silenced. Soon, via our vast fields of coral, the moment of its awakening came. The Old One emitting a primal scream as a burst of light illuminated the skies. Our civilization had never been more impressive. We stood proud, the chorus singing with belief, confident in Jarosite's words. Or the Old One, and you will enjoy its blessings. Light and color fled the world. We didn't know if the god was repulsed, afraid, or just exhausted, but every sign of its presence disappeared. This isn't the balance we sought, but we are in control.
okay, sorry, I hit end because I thought it was just going to bring up an end screen, and then they actually have a proper voiced over thing.
Yeah, so, you tend to go for those kind of internal mathematically better end game strategies, and from other people that play like Civ that I've talked to, going hard on science seems to be like an internal stuff seems to be a big thing, and so it does seem like it is kind of I don't want to say a problem, because for a lot of people it's not a problem, but that the thing where they're pairing victory conditions does seem to address, and the fact that they're not just list you kind of gun it for stuff, and I don't know, so I'm really interested to hear your further thoughts on that.
Well, I mean, I don't. I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay. Well, do you think a structure that would pair the conditions the way you thought it had worked would alleviate or solve some problems with victory conditions in 4X games, or do you not see them being problems?
Well, I guess it depends on how much you consider an imbalance in the sort of like abstract power of the victory conditions to be a problem. Because this is a thing that's notoriously hard to balance, right? And like we talked about this when we played Civ 7. There are some victory conditions in Civ 7 that there is simply no reason to play unless you are specifically just like trying to challenge yourself
Yeah.
Because there's one or two that are just like huge runaway the easiest to achieve. The science victory does not necessarily have the benefit of being the easiest to achieve in like Civ or Endless Legend, but it is often the one where like the internal reinforcing power loop is the greatest. So like if you're not focused on military but you're focused on science, you get ahead of people militarily, you get ahead of people on military science, and then if they start rumbling sabers, you quickly build an army that is superior, smaller because you're building it fast, but like numerically superior to their army, and then you kill their
Yeah.
And the military strategy is always going to feel like, unless you're talking about like military, specifically timed military pushes like that are opened up by aggressive science strategies, the military strategy is always going to feel a little behind, I guess.
Okay.
But, most people will never have this experience though, because most people never play the game in multiplayer. Most people, famously, most people never play 4X games in multiplayer. And in most 4X games, you can kind of just do whatever you want and win, because the AI's not good at winning the games. In some 4X games, they're better at providing an interesting complication to the player than in others. But in very few of them are... I might go so far as to say none that I'm aware of, with the exception of Endless Legend with the community patch. That might be the only 4X in which I'm like actually worried that my opponent's going to win the game.
And as we talked about before, because in a lot of these 4X games, especially like Civ, people, first of all, don't play the whole game to completion every time. And because they're not actually looking for like a sharp competitive experience, even from AI.
Right.
They just kind of want to play in their sandbox. And it's a different kind of...
Yeah, I think that a lot of people...
It's a different thing to design for.
I think that a lot of people would reflexively tell you that the thing they're looking for from a game like this is an opponent who is like doing the same things you are, and you beat that opponent, and then like I think the truth of what they're looking for is probably closer to what John Schaefer figured, which is they're looking for enemy forces that are going to provide some kind of complication to their journey, but they're not particularly interested in actually like losing, or it being a realistic possibility that their opponent's going to pull off a science victory on them. It's one thing to lose. It was one thing to lose to a military force, because that is at least like something that you are involved in the whole way. But I doubt very much that the median 4X player is interested in the enemy pulling off an internal, is interested in the experience of trying to prevent an enemy from pulling off an internal victory condition.
Yeah, I mean, most people I know besides you who are 4X players are looking for like something that's like a chill thing for them to do for a little bit, for a couple hours or whatever. And chill isn't really something where you're looking for that kind of edge, that kind of sharpness. And I think you're absolutely right there, sweetheart. And so there's a degree to which, is it a problem at all?
There's a little bit of like do you approach the 4X game as effectively a complicated Euro board game, or are you approaching it as something different? And I think of them very much in that way. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I think. I don't know how common I think that is among 4X players. You all sound off in the comments. Like, let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know what you are thinking of the thing that I'm saying here. Like, what is it that you are looking for from another player in these games? Like, do you want to actually have to be racing people doing internals? Is that interesting? I think like there's a fair number of people, probably disproportionately a number of people who follow this channel who are like Endless Legend community patch people, and I do think that provides that experience.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what I think everybody else is into, but anyway, we won the game. We accidentally pulled off a diplomacy victory.
Good job.
I would definitely play differently if I knew that I was only going for one of those.
And that's kind of why I didn't tell
One
you.
of those goals. Well, it might have been good to save everybody else the time, you know.
Oh, well, now I feel bad. I enjoyed the time. I enjoyed exploring the space with you.
Amabel driving the knife into the eye of the viewer. You will watch this game continue forever. So here's what I think we should.
I mean,
do.
look.
We are 40 minutes into this episode. I think we should figure out how, like, our starting conditions for the next game.
Okay.
Do that now.
Sounds
and
good.
then start the next game in the next episode.
Okay.
So, we are of course orange. I guess everybody has their default faction icon, right? But then it looks like there's some other ones. If you pick a different faction? Okay, so
It jumps.
Well, no. My question was: is this a set of icons, all of which are specific to the Sheridan? And it looks like the answer is, yeah, right?
Okay.
Yeah, there's 8 different Sheridans and 8 different Last Lords, and I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. So what's leaping out to you here?
Yeah. Okay. So this is a good question. Gosh.
I'm generally not super interested in single city factions.
Where were we in the technology tree when we finished that last game? We were like era 5, right? Or pushing into era 5. Like we were like halfway up. I'm just thinking about like the difference. The difference between pacify 30 villages and get 5 endgame technologies as goals.
Yeah.
How are they going to stop you from getting 30 village pacifications? That's like do 10 or 15 quests?
That's a good question.
Without the additional complication that you have to have mined a bunch of 3rd era resources, it feels to me like that pacify 30 villages thing is going to be so fast. Not like super fast, not like turn 10 or anything, but it's going to be available so much earlier than any of the other victory conditions. The amount of territory you have to cover to find 13 fortresses,
which
seems huge.
Which brings up the question again, like, does it matter? Because if someone's like, well, I want to do a science thing, and they're not going to get much competition from the AI, does it matter that there's an easier one to pick? 'Cause not everyone's looking at it in a very mathematical way.
Aren't they? This is another one of those, I don't really know how people, like...
Sound off in the comments.
Are you sure of the thing you're saying right now? Here's what I kind of want to do. I kind of want to pick the science-focused faction, and then try to win the game by pacifying 30 villages.
Sciencely.
No.
Oh, okay.
Try to win the game.
Okay.
Science as hard as we can, and see how deep in the tree am I when we do win by pacifying the villages.
Okay.
Because I don't think there's any chance that we actually get to the science victory before that happens.
Okay. Now, are you doing the same difficulty level this time?
No, like that. We played. The enemies were wearing pillows. Like, we'll play against real difficulty here. I just wanted to like kind of get a vague sense of
get our feet wet.
the shape of the mechanics, and boy did I. Okay, so like let's talk about this. Tahooks, scientists. An ancient life form, the Tahooks evolved from giant desert scavenging lizards. Over time, Tahook society came to be defined by devotion to the sages, godlike figures of infinite wisdom who once walked among them. Though these divinities disappeared long ago, the Tahooks hope for their return. They dedicate themselves to the strange mix of faith and technology that their religious hierarchy, the Assembly, promises will restore the sages to Sayada. So we get a holy oculum, allowing the Tahook to funnel research into powerful actions like stars, light, service of spirit, eternal sunshine, and of course, spotless minds. Mountain observatories built on mountains grant wide visibility. They also provide food during monsoons and science during other times. It's interesting that they provide food during monsoons. They can be upgraded to sacred flames and libraries. Religious festivals allow the Tahook to convert some of their population to fanatics known as called. The exact effect of these called changes with each festival, and they can be spent out to spread their message to other Empire's cities. So,
Okay.
festivals are repeatable actions during monsoon, available only during monsoon season. Interesting.
I have a question about the Tahooks.
Yeah.
So there's that big hat. Is that hat just? Do they have like a normal like hat? Is just a really tall hat, or you think they have like
Like a tall head under there.
really thick long heads?
Like
Yeah.
a big head spike. No, I
Yeah.
don't know. I think
I'm eager to find out.
I don't think we're going to, is what I was going to say. I think we will never see one remove the hat. Alright, so our faction affinity is blessed by the sages. We have the Tahook festivals available. Fanatical Tahooks who change obsessions every monsoon, providing mostly weak effects and sinking cities' approval. Having too many called in a city could cause religious riots, which are specifically different than normal riots. The Oculum's authority lets you divert science output into some actions to allow you to improve stuff. Ritual astronomy lets you spend dust to build observatories. Okay. Can only be built on ridges. We are inquisitive but fickle. I'm assuming these are attitude things that mostly affect the AI. And then we start with scientific charter and voice of the masses. It's weird that it just says technology unlocked at start. It doesn't describe what the technology does.
Well, that's
And then, yeah, so enemy difficulty.
Oh, wow, that's really going really high up.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking either stellar or endless, right? Like if we're gonna do it, let's do
Okay.
it.
All right. Do you
Let's try
want
stellar.
one of the AI opponents to be the coral people?
So the other thing is we were playing on a world that was too large last time.
Okay.
If we play normal, normal is recommended for 4 players. And then I kind of think, is there a... Can I not random them? I would love to go into the game not knowing. Is the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's... I don't really want to start next to the necrophages again if I can avoid it.
Yeah.
But maybe we do one of every non-necrophage faction, I guess.
Okay.
Just a little more curious about the rate of the internal race and stuff. And then we have a couple of map types. Tidefall will happen quickly. Pangea starts everybody on the same landmass. I will just play on continents again, and I think with that, is there anything here that we want to mess with? Peaceful mode. AI-controlled empires will never declare war on other empires or initiate attacks. Huh. You can force a no rush. That's, I guess, kind of interesting. Use this setting to determine whether army scouting prior to the founding of the first city provides economic bonuses in compensation for the lost time not developing the city. Okay, well, we've got that on. We'll leave it on. Heroes who are wounded in battle cannot be resurrected is a terrifying way to play. And then all of the different victory types. Yeah, leave them on. World wrap, yes. And then we can mess with the world a little bit more. We also could just set every slider, everything to random. But I think we'll just leave it on default continents generation.
Okay.
So okay, this will be the idea. This will be the idea. We'll come in. We'll play it on Stellar. We'll see how that looks. And yeah, maybe I will find that all of my feelings about the pacifying villages and stuff come down to us having played sort of a softer game there, and under real game conditions, it's hard to perform for whatever reason. We'll see. So anyway, that I think is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, we're starting a new game, and we'll see you then.
That's such a tall hat.